Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I announce it is time for Rebellion. It felt good to have a proper, nice intro like that. Hello everybody, of course, and Jess here, and welcome back to Madoka Magica. Welcome back to Madoka Magica Rebellion, the movie, the third movie. The first two movies, I believe, are recaps of the TV series. So now I am watching Rebellion, the one that is not a recap and actually introduces some new details, some new stuff. I am watching subs by Meguka, and the name of the file is Meguka Puella Magi Madoka Magica Part 3 Rebellion BDH264-1080p underscore FLAC 45D40AAC.mkv, and it weighs 11.7 gigabytes. If you wanted to have the same version as I do. So, what do I have to say about what we're about to watch? Nothing, actually. Genuinely nothing. Madoka Magica, the main series, in my opinion, ended in a very final way, right? Like, sure, Homura is out there still hunting for some of the I even forgot what they're called, witches and their minions and stuff like that, and now she is no longer in danger of turning into a witch, so hey, that's cool. So the world is a better place and whatnot, since Madoka became a deity and rewrote the reality to her liking. And I guess we could continue in that world? Maybe? I'm honestly not entirely sure. Madoka Magica, the main series, left a little bit of openness, right? But in my mind, it wasn't so much an openness in a way a sequel will arrive, but rather in a way, and so the story continues, ... and the story never actually continues. You know what I mean? So, when I started watching Madoka Magica, I knew that movies are out. At least one of them. I knew that I think the spin-off series Magia Record is also a thing that exists. I thought it's a sequel, even. But I didn't know how Madoka Magica itself ends, of course, because I've never seen it. But now that I know how it ends, the existence of sequel movies and the spin-off less so, but the existence of sequel movies is surprising, honestly, and I wonder what can I expect from it. I really do. Do I expect a continuation from where we left off? Do I expect a I don't know, a remake, quote unquote, an alternate reality, perhaps, where Madoka doesn't turn into a god or whatever, where they defeat Walpurgisnacht or something. The title is Rebellion, so maybe it's an alternate reality where magical girls rebel against Cubase and their reign. I honestly am not sure. The title is fairly vague. Rebellion. They could be rebelling against witches, although that kinda is a thing already. They could be rebelling against Cubase. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, right? They learn that Cubase are using them, and they're like, no, we will not be used by you, and go to war with alien cats. I'm honestly not sure. I'm honestly unsure what to expect from it. Do I even say anything more? I don't think so. I think that's genuinely all I have to say on the topic. I just don't quite know what to expect. I'm going in completely blind. And yeah. And after I'm done watching the movie, I know that there's another movie in production that is a sequel to this one. So this one won't end conclusively? What? How much story can you squeeze out of this world, out of those characters, right? A bit of housekeeping then, maybe. After I'm done watching this movie, I will jump into Magia Record. I know that some people don't like it, some people say it's a travesty, some people don't mind it. I don't know. The fact that people abhor it so much kind of makes it interesting. So that's what I'm gonna be here for, and since it's a non-seasonal, it will of course be released early on Patreon. Yes, Patreon non-seasonals are coming back. So if you were waiting for that, it's back. They're back for however long I can keep it up. September 1st or thereabouts, I'm probably gonna have to start a new job. So it will no longer be vacation. I will no longer have as much free time, so that's gonna suck a little. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Things are good right now. Let's keep it that way. Yeah, I have no clue what to expect from this movie. To me, Madoka Magica ended perfectly well. I'm not sure how can you really squeeze a sequel from that. Although that was the exact same case with whatchamacallit, Review Starlight, right? Review Starlight also ended fairly, end-like, and if not for the recap movie that introduces some ways to potentially get into a sequel, I would be like, oh, why a sequel movie? What? That doesn't make sense. So I guess you can actually do that. I wonder if the recap movies of Madoka Magica also contain some additional material, or are they just pure recap? In any case, people told me to jump straight into Rebellion, so that is what I'm doing. And I should probably stop talking now, and we should start watching. Right? It's a 2-hour-long movie, so let's not stall for time. I stalled for time enough as it is. I made a thumbnail for the new episode of Undead Girl Murder Farce. I went and shaved my face, I got myself a tea, I got myself some water, all sorts of things just to not start watching this, because I'm kind of afraid deep inside. Afraid of my content not being, good enough for the status that Madoka Magica has overall, and I'm kind of afraid of this movie as a whole. Right? What's it gonna be? I'm afraid of the unknown, and this is such a big deal, such a big thing. People were waiting so much for this movie, and it's a cult classic and whatnot. It's kind of intimidating, you know? So, as I said, we should stop talking and start watching. And to do that, you will need your subs, of course, down below to see, to keep along with me. Although, wait, because the timer is just in minutes, and you would probably need hours as well. Can we do that somehow? Timer, there we go. And can I use hours? I can. %0h. Okay. %0h : There we go. There are now hours on the clock. so you will now know perfectly well how to follow along throughout the whole movie. So, subs, you're gonna need them to follow along with me. As I already said, I'm using Meguka subs. They were recommended to me, and I see no reason to look for anything else. There were like various encodings available, but I saw some comparisons, and they don't honestly look all that different, so I just grabbed whatever had the most seeds right now, with Meguka subs, of course. So, subs. Sound. I am going to need it to hear what's going on in the movie. And of course, support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And now, with all of that said, we can start watching episode. No, we can start watching the third movie of Madoka Magica, Madoka Quella Magi Madoka Magica Rebellion, in 3, 2, 1, go. Warner Bros? What? Did I download the right thing? I think I did. Warner Bros, really? The law of the cycle. So, is it still set in the timeline where they turn into witches? Or is it some cycle of reincarnation that Madoka introduced? Okay, it is a sequel because Homura is talking, is reminiscing about Madoka. That's a very pretty shot of the city. Ah, yes, the familiar effects, like from a stage play, cut out from various decorative fabric and whatnot. I think that's better. Welcome to cinema. Nine 11. Sorry, but the first thing that came to my mind. Some nice classical music. I started playing Madoka. Aren't you supposed to be like one with the universe right now? Sayaka? Aren't you supposed to be dead? What timeline is it? Kyoko? The whole gang is here. Is it like the good timeline? What the fuck is going on right now? There's probably like 17 layers of symbolism in here, but... What the fuck is going on? Oh, it was like explosive food or something? Or are they now killing witches with compassion? Apparently. Tomatoes. Okay, is it like an imaginary reality that Madoka created for herself with her god powers? Or something? And the chairs are still here. Okay, so it's legit like the good timeline. The numbered makeup. Homura. Is it like Homura started missing Madoka too much and she jumped timelines to a timeline where Madoka isn't a god? Okay, I'm confused. Opening. I like how the letterbox just slides in slowly. Garden of Eden? I don't know. Nothing at all is as it used to be. It's a separate timeline, isn't it? It's an alternate reality. Everybody is super happy about being a Mahou Shoujo, except Homura, because she knows what it entails? Question mark. Yeah, I have no fucking clue what's going on. I really don't. And both of them have the rings as well. The Meguka rings. That's some great audio mixing. I actually hear them like running in circles. Reminds me of that like barbershop MP3. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It was like demonstrating stereo sound, and it was shiver-inducing. Walpurgisnacht. Yeah, that's the good answer. How are you still a teacher? You would find yourself really well in the world of Zom 100. The telepathic messaging between our Mahou Shoujos. Hello, Homura. A very different Homura. She's a Mahou Shoujo. Okay, is it like Homura Homura? I think it's alternate reality Homura. All five of them are like alternate reality themselves. And then the main serious Homura will arrive and start stirring shit up. Interesting. She was pretty much a solo DPS in the first world. Oh? Memories of a parallel universe stirring inside of her or something? I don't know, man. I'm just looking for explanations everywhere I can. The moon is beautiful tonight, isn't it? And what are those fish flying in the sky? You have, all across different timelines. Just kiss already. Hmm? Whomst? I didn't know she's an Ojo-sama like that. Get cocked! Oh, no. Lessons. Okay, sure. Sorry. Didn't say I love you back. Just laughed awkwardly. Am I looking too deep into that? Him never having any time for her, always being busy. Is it a one-sided love? Oh, okay. Let's welcome a brand new witch into our world. Our world. I'll turn into a witch. And what is that? And what is that? Okay, it's Bebe, but what is Bebe? Is it like Mommy's Cube? A witch that she tamed? I don't know. They were busy flirting. Go go Power Rangers. Do, 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 do. Okay, first tension of the movie. That's a very witchy imagery. Okay, everybody's getting a different henshin. That's cool. Different music and all. And each henshin has like a couple of frames of very unsettling imagery of some sort. I mean, in general, henshins are fairly unsettling in here. Right? Like, usually in Mahou Shoujo shows, henshin is like the most fun and beautiful moment of the show, right? Now, this is beautiful, sure, but also fairly scary at times. And ominous. Most of all, ominous. I think it's hinting at the witch that every magical girl has within her. Or the witch potential, at least. Title drop, almost. Music really plays a huge role this time around. Zawardo! Combined attacks? Okay. That's new. Also interesting that they aren't really like scared for Hitomi, right? Oh no, Hitomi has been corrupted by the witch. Witch has taken her hostage. What do we do? It's just, nothing out of the ordinary for them. And nothing particularly scary, which is huge contrast to how it was in the first in the main series, right? Let's snack on some witches. Anybody brought tea? Wasn't Bebe a witch in the main series? And that's just a nursery rhyme. Well, Bebe really likes cheese. What the fuck is going on right now? It's just a fever dream. Am I... I don't think I have high temperature. So they turn nightmares into layer cake and Bebe eats it. That's how they defeat nightmares. What the fuck am I watching? The main series was heavy with imagery, but this is just going above and beyond. And thus they brought her good dreams. So nightmares are fairly literal in that they bring you nightmares, or are caused by nightmares. Literally. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Hmm. Okay, we're almost half an hour in. What is going to be the, like, plot of this movie? I still wonder. The opening showed the main series Homura in it. So I fully expect her to appear and fuck shit up somehow. I love Bebe. Reminds me of what was it? Black from the something Ladybug, right? And Cat Noir. It's also familiar that really likes cheese, except he really likes camembert, and Bebe seems to prefer mascarpone. Why is your face this way? Is the reality breaking apart? Or is it just to signify that those are just a bunch of nobodies? They're just insignificant characters, faceless. Also, that aliasing on the writing on the board. Oof. Okay, so Cubase can eat human food. Also, in that shot, Madoka was kind of like crossed almost, and they were separated by vertical lines. Maybe I'm just looking too deep into vertical lines because of Witch from Mercury. Another nightmare in the making. Those are some tall chairs. I mean, yeah, sure, compared to the main series. It is just a hallucination, isn't it? It is just a dream or a reality created either by Homura or by Madoka. None of it is real. None of it is real. There is no Casamino City. It's just this city. This is your entire world. This is all that the simulation can provide. That would be my bet. And it's all food for her, which stays in line with the main series. But in this world, she doesn't seem to have a reason for being such a glutton, right? Like in the main series, there was a full on good reason for that childhood trauma and whatnot. This time around, she doesn't seem traumatized. And this imagery really reminds me of Kekkai Sensen. All those like bridges crossing every which way. Veni vidi Mitakihara. I'm gonna note down Mitakihara. You're in hell right now. Honestly. Uh, oh, Mitakihara City. You're in the middle of a map that wasn't built by the developers. There ain't no left. There is no Casamino City. You're in the Matrix. Oh, that bus just spawned in. You're gonna board and the thing is gonna change from Casamino to Mitakihara. Ask the driver if you're going to Casamino. Yeah. The bus goes Mitakihara to Mitakihara, because Mitakihara is the one and only place in the whole entire world. It's not a real human being. It's just an imaginary automaton. Yep, Casamino changed into Mitakihara. It's an endless road. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Because there is someone. Yeah. There's someone who wants to keep you here. Okay, the plot thickens. Ah, shaft neck. I was waiting. Parting gift. So it's either, yeah, it's either a world created specifically for Homura, either by Homura or by Madoka, or by some other power, which would mean that Kyoko, Sayaka, Mami, Madoka are part of this world, are just not real, or they all have been trapped here somehow. And it seems there's not going to be a second Homura. This is the Homura. Yeah, the one and only question is it just Homura trapped here, or is everybody else as well? At least that used to be the case until Madoka came into the picture and rewrote reality. So is this an alternate reality where that didn't happen? Okay, it did happen. Yeah. I mean, Madoka erased herself from the memories of the world in its entirety. That's ominous. Bebe really likes cheesecake. And cheese in general. She said camembert, not cheese. Unless cheese in Japanese is camembert. You know, gently prodding for memories. And also, Kyubei knows something's up. Or suspects, at least. Yeah. That's in line with the main series. Is this a world created for Madoka's enjoyment? Because I don't think it's as simple as just a random witch trapping them in a labyrinth. The pot is right here. Oh, okay. There's no more tea in the pot. What you doing, Homura? Zawardo. And what do you intend to do? You wanna talk with Mami without... Oh, no. Are you going to kill Bebo? Bebe? It's the witch Beatrice. Maybe it's genuinely not Bebe. Maybe it's something else, something more. Because it really doesn't seem like any singular witch would be powerful enough to do all that. Create a whole illusory city, rewrite everybody's memories. Mami came to rescue Bebe. Yes, please do. Homura, you really suck at explaining things. And why isn't Mami affected by Zawardo? Homura, you were able to persuade Kyoko. Why not do the same with everybody else? In isolation, one by one. Why do you have to jump into just not fucking talking? Amazing music. And I love Mami's multiple guns. Always have, always will. Yeah, maybe like jumping straight into trying to kill each other is not the way. Just, just saying. And Homura and her endless supply of guns. That's also amazing. I guess both of them have an endless supply of guns. And the chorus. Talk. Guys, just talk. I beg of you. It was an amazing combat sequence. Don't get me wrong, but it really felt like it could have been avoided by a Homura just fucking talking. Retry? Retry. Oh, right, Mami wasn't affected because she was tethered with the ribbon. Homura, do you want to, like, save everybody, or do you want to kill everybody? What is your fucking goal here? Because you refuse to elaborate, and then you just go into shooting your friends. Oh. She was ribbons all along? Yes! Thank you! Finally, talk! Finally! Yes! Talk, Homura! I beg you, fucking talk! Yes! Finally! Yes! Make everybody question. Yes! That's what you do, Homura. Sayaka, why are you getting involved? And who the fuck are you? Kyubei? Loli Kyubei? Bebe? Oh? Yeah, just as I thought, Bebe is innocent. There has to be something more, something bigger. Exactly. It makes no sense for a witch to just trap you. Exactly. Let her fucking talk, Homura! Let her talk! She clearly knows what the fuck is going on. And you have your suspicions as well. So talk it out. Try to figure it out. What the fuck are you doing, Homura? It's probably Madoka. Yeah? Is this Sayaka's world? So it happened post Madoka deification. Yep. Yep. No, you don't seem to be. Hmm. Oh, we just passed an hour. And the first suspect would be Sayaka, of course, but she's like not even supposed to be alive right now. The one and only person who survived was Homura, right? Not counting Madoka. So really, neither Mami nor Kyoko nor Sayaka should be here. They are all dead in this current world. Dragged or created? So, is the rebellion against that status quo, against magical girls having to always fight? That's what they are rebelling against? This fake world is the act of rebellion? Hello, Madoka. And Kyubei can't speak, but has this ominous, like, full screen look every now and then still. Oh, I just jumped straight to killing my friends instead of talking. You know, the usual. I mean, it is the usual for Homura, let's be honest here. Yes, Homura, please talk. Okay, so is Homura bluffing right now? Or is she trying to stir some memory inside of Madoka? Or does she, like, genuinely wish to remain in this world now? Yeah, entire world is gaslighting you, essentially. It's a great animation of making a braid. But you did. So is Homura accepting this fake world? And all the flowers are wilting. Yeah, oh, the braid falling apart. No, I can't be this world's Homura, your fellow transfer student classmate. Right? I have to be the main story Homura. So she rejects this fake world, despite all. Is she the real Madoka? So has this world just been Madoka's creation as a gift for Homura? Yeah, I'm still clueless. I'm sorry, I'm still clueless. Oh, the opening song. Ending? One of those. She did meet Madoka, though. Homura herself? Okay, yeah. That's a thing. What does it prove, though? What's going on? What the fuck is going on right now? Homura is getting away from her gem, so she no longer can keep up the illusion, so it starts falling apart. Is that it? And she's back with her gem, right? Because she came back. Yep. Oh, interesting. So is she just a normal girl? A witch? No, because she has her powers. Is she herself an imaginary construct? Oh, okay. So she did become a witch, and it is her world, the world that she created for her own happiness. Interesting. Good question, though. When did she become a witch? Especially since in post-Madoka world, it should be impossible for a magical girl to become a witch, right? Kyubei turned Homura into a witch? What? We the Kyubeis? Yeah. But wait, the reality itself was supposed to be rewritten. So how does Kyubei know that something is amiss? That the law of the cycle should be studied? Why did it freeze? I thought I lost power for a moment or something because the screen just froze. Well, we might be like a split second off because of that. The timer, rather. Yeah. Okay. The law of the cycle itself. Madoka. Yeah, she erased herself from existence, so for all intents and purposes, she should not even exist. So Homura's power as a witch managed to trap a deity, essentially. What's this Nightcore song? Hmm. But there's nothing to observe, really. And that. They probably want to stop the law of the cycle. Because of the law of the cycle, witches don't appear. Yeah. Yeah. Back to status quo from the main series. So in the end, Cubase came to the exact same conclusion they did in the main show. That the transformation into witches is ultimately how they get the most energy. So even Madoka's efforts could potentially be in vain. That's some cosmic horror kind of shit, and I love it. So be it. Maybe, but the best possible outcome for Madoka. Oh? Did Madoka decide to save her anyway? That's not Madoka. And the pendulum that she had at her place in the main series. Gramophone-based design, interesting. We still have like half an hour. So what's gonna happen now? Everybody banding together to save Homura somehow? I don't know, just spitballing. Crying teeth. Well, that's interesting. Leading herself for an execution by beheading. And at the same time trying to stop herself. Yeah, that's a first, isn't it? She really likes cheese. Oh, she blended herself and then poured herself into a mold. Okay, sure, that works. Why not? Oh? Why? Oh, that is Sayaka's witch. Madoka's apostles, essentially. That's cool. Yep. Get fucked. Mm-hmm. That's what Sayaka said. That my job is to remember. And Bebe is like also an actually good person. So it is a rebellion against Cubase. Tiro Duet? No, Madoka's Magic Bow. No, you're just being an emo right now. You don't have to. Yeah, that's Homura's probably biggest fault. She just doesn't say anything to anybody, doesn't try to get any help or anything like that, just, does everything on herself, by herself, on her own. Wasn't a dream, I'm afraid, but. Yep. Yeah, thanks to being apostles of the cycle, they can go back into this world if for a moment. I don't want to, get ahead of myself, but so far it seems like the movie is overall much more positive than the show. There's much less despair overall, which is nice. Which is actually very nice. I don't think I could take the movie being one entire pain train, Tiro finale, I was waiting for that. Breaking the world apart. Nope, we're saving you whether you want it or not. Get saved, bitch. Uplifting music, that's what I like. That's what I like. More of that, please. So please actually break it. Please don't pull some bullshit at the last moment, Homura. Please, I beg of you. Ooh, cut up hand. It's almost like self-harm markings. Yeah. Oh, Homura has a nice new weapon. That's a lot of Cubase. And suddenly, not as many of them anymore. Get blown up. Okay, now what will be the repercussions of what just happened? That's what I wonder. Is Homura gonna be alive again? Is she gonna turn into a witch for... like... for sure? For real, rather? No, they are up in the sky. Oh, her gem broke. And on this day, Madoka brought them a rainbow as a sign of their everlasting covenant. Or whatever. Yep, this is your god. And now Homura is going to be her another apostle. Okay, who the fuck is Bebe? Like legit, who the fuck is Bebe? She's a witch, but she's not. She's Madoka's apostle, but if she's a witch, then how she's an apostle, I don't know. Give me your soul. Oh, scary. Ominous. Please don't. That's what I wanted to ask. Cubase interference? Homura's intense desire? You're being a yandere right now, Homura. Oh. She undeified Madoka. And there goes the observable universe. Okay, we still have like 20 minutes. What else can happen? A black soul gem? What? Upside down cube? But this time it's Homura rewriting it. Yeah. Love, desire, whatever you want to call it. Love. Interesting way to like present love negatively almost. Okay. We had our Jesus, now we have our Satan. Yep, so fuck off. Okay, how did Homura rewrite the world? Or, I mean, in what way? What has changed? We know what changed when Madoka rewrote the world, what changed when Homura did it. just casually spending time with monsters, with wraiths or witches or whatever you want to call them. I don't. Please enlighten me. No, probably not. Dementia. At least Bebe is happy. Okay, but what changed about the rules of the world? Because if magical girls still get, you know, handled by the law of the cycle, and the only thing that Homura managed to change is like bring Madoka back, then I see nothing wrong with it. But ultimately, I have no fucking clue what Homura changed. So I can't really say whether it's something good or something bad. And this time it's Madoka being the transfer student. You're trying to speedrun it, Homura. You're not really acting friendly at all. Yeah, because the world has been rewritten. Oh? Her godly powers are still working? Okay. So, Homura failed at what she wanted to do. At least to a degree. I'm sorry that I'm being quiet for so long, but I'm just trying to process what the fuck am I even witnessing right now. And what is this? And what is this? Well, that was an experience. I honestly don't know where to even start talking about it. I feel like everything I just witnessed kind of went in through one ear and left through another. Right? Like, I have seen this movie. I get that in the end something changed, and Homura is a demon now. And Madoka has two forms now. Her deity form that still exists, and her split part that's Madoka on Earth. And that's basically all I got from it, to be honest. But I guess now I can see where the second, or I guess the fourth movie can come in. I'm guessing it will be about the fight between good and evil, between Madoka and Homura, to maybe finally unite them in a good way. Or is it going to be about a triumph of Madoka over Homura, or Homura over Madoka, or I don't know. But I can see some story still left to be told, I guess. Yeah, overall, this movie really felt like a fever dream. I'm 100% honest here, I'm not even joking. It actually genuinely felt like a fever dream, where I just, 3/4 of the movie, I was just sitting there, just staring blankly at the screen, not really knowing what the fuck is going on. And the ending part of it, the like last 40 minutes, 40 minutes of this movie, was just a barrage of things happening. Yeah, the last half an hour was just a barrage. Of, oh, Homura sacrifices herself so Madoka can remain a deity. Oh, but Madoka with her apostles came in to help Homura regardless, so she can be saved. Oh, but oh no, Homura is tries to grab part of Madoka anyway, and she becomes evil. Oh, but Madoka actually knows that some no, first. Oh, but Sayaka actually knows something's wrong, and maybe Sayaka will stand against Homura in the next movie. Oh, but no, Sayaka actually forgets everything. Oh, but Madoka now remembers that she's a god. Oh, but no, but she forgets that she's a god again. It's constant, like, fucking pendulum. Half an hour of this movie, the last half an hour was a fucking pendulum. Hmm. Oh, after credits scene. Thank you very much. Is it going to explain something? Is it going to tease the next movie? And right, what about magical girls in this world? What about Cubane? What about witches? Do they still exist? Do they not? Okay, sure, the end. That was something. I'm honestly at a lack of words for the most part. Like, the majority of this movie was, I don't know, a little too abstract for me. But let's watch it again, as usual. Yeah, I honestly think the majority of this movie was like way too abstract for me. The main show, the main series, was, all things considered, fairly grounded, right? Like you could follow it more or less, right? Aha, so this is what what incubators desire. Okay, that's what happens to magical girls. Okay, I can, assemble the pieces. I can write down some notes on it. I have my notes on Madoka Magica still written down in my little green notebook somewhere, right? Like the main series actually was possible to follow. This one, early on, I could mostly follow it, and I really liked the mystery, right? I really did enjoy the mystery of, oh, what's the deal with this world? Who created it? Was it Madoka? Was it Homura? Was it Sayaka? Was it some other power that be, or whatever? And then it devolved into just a barrage of things. Kinda, sorta. I guess I'm still fairly, like, ambivalent on it. But let's watch it again and maybe discuss it in a little bit more detail. Warner Bros. I never would have expected that, to be honest with you. But here we are. They are the ones who pray for hope, embrace curses, and fight ever onward. The price we paid to obtain our miracles was to take a destiny of battle upon our souls. Yeah. In this irredeemable world, forever repeating its tragedies and hatred, I dreamt that I encountered that familiar smile once again. That was our first clue that this is not the real world. And another clue was, of course, that so many things here really seem like witch-worldy, right? In the main show, there was a clear distinction. No witch-worldy elements, we are in the reality. Witch-worldly elements, we are in the witch world. In this case, everything is mixed pretty much at all times. So that was our another clue. Feeding this witch or wraith or whatever it is and then exploding it, that's interesting. And then there is Bebe. Who the fuck is Bebe? How the fuck did she come to be? I have no clue. Everything seems normal, except Madoka is a Mahou Shoujo far earlier than should be the case. Opening. And yeah, all the life is very good, life is nice, life is fun. We live in like a perfect way. I really thought the plot is going to be that this is an alternate timeline. Right? This is a timeline where Madoka is still alive and Sayaka and everybody else. Everybody is still alive, and perhaps since Madoka rewrote the world as a whole, she also rewrote all the other timelines. So this timeline, where everybody is still alive, now operates on the laws of cycle instead of magical girls turning into witches. So this is kind of a reset of the story, and maybe not a retelling, because I fully expected like main series Homura to eventually appear and start, I don't know, doing something, perhaps trying to replace this world Homura or something. But no, it seems everything is much more complicated. Homura already is a Mahou Shoujo as well. Talking, wanting to talk. There we have this subplot with their little romance that actually went pretty much nowhere. Except for the switch. I love Bebe. I really love Bebe. I really didn't want for Bebe to turn out to be the villain. I really wanted Homura to be wrong, honestly. I was afraid that Homura is just going to kill Bebe, and then it's gonna turn out that it actually didn't change anything, that the world is still fucked, and oh no, it wasn't Bebe's fault, I just killed an innocent creature. You know, I was really afraid. But no, thankfully Bebe was allowed to live. I wonder if there are Bebe plushies. There probably are. Let me do a quick Google. Madoka Magica Bebe plushie. Of course there are Bebe plushies. How expensive? Ooh. Well, okay, maybe not that expensive. Yeah, okay. $27 on Amazon compared to $50 for Cubase, so I guess it's somewhat affordable. I knew that there's gonna be Bebe plushies, and I'm glad. And we go to fight some really cool henshins. And they are kind of keeping with the theme of henshins from the main series, where it's just a flash of color and they turn back into their, you know, henshin forms, as opposed to henshins from, say, Symphogear, where you see all those like pieces of armor and ribbons being tied, and it's very gradual, right? They just glow a color, burst, and they're henshined. Taking a page out of the Sailor Moon book. What the fuck is going over there? It's kind of creepy. Just a solid blob of color and then a face. Almost looks like that meme where they paste Chaika's face from Hitsugi no Chaika onto different characters. Showing off. And then every single henshin sequence has those like unsettling moments. At least some of them. Right, bursting out of the back of herself. Twice. And there's the henshin, very grungy in the background still. It's not that, you know, clean and happy and bright henshin sequence of a magical girl. This ain't your mother's magical girl show. This one's edgy. Similarly, Kyoko, also solid blob of color with a face. Also doing some dancing. Great music. But the imagery, right? Just a black silhouette with one singular open eye or mouth or whatever it is. Ripping the fabric apart. Those, like, scary eyes. Like, fucking... Who was it from Hololive that drew the scary face? Mumei. This is just Mumei's scary face. Yeah, right? It's supposed to be a bright, nice henshin of magical girls, but no, it ain't. Of course it's not. Single frame of witch writing. Couple frames, I think, actually. 1, 2, 2 frames. Look, yo, I don't know how to read that, so maybe say in the comments or on the Discord or wherever, because I really don't wanna... I don't know, do I risk spoiling anything if I look it up on Madoka Magica wiki? Because the 4th movie isn't out yet. Do I risk spoiling, like, Magia record? I'm not sure. No, I don't think I'm gonna be consulting Wiki on that. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to let me know in the comments or on the Discord. And yeah, Homura similarly. And there's that like glitch effect a little bit. Right? She's glitching quite often. All the other characters, when they wear a solid color, they remained a solid color. Homura is glitching. And then there's this, and fuck it, I'm gonna Google it because I'm curious. Madoka Magica Rebellion Henshin Writing. Quella Magi Wiki. Synopsis, summary. Should I read the summary? Am I going to like understand this movie better if I read the summary? Let's see, Homura's page and Homura in the Rebellion story. No, I don't think it's translated, at least not here. So probably not the Madoka Magica, not in the Puella Magi wiki. Someone on Reddit is asking about transformations. No, it's just a video of the transformations. Oh, video of original transformations from the main show with the music from Rebellion. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find any like particular translations. I'm gonna leave reading the summary for after I'm done, I think. But yeah, creepy, scary writing. This creepy, scary effect of trying to break away from the darkness, from the curse, desperately. Another flash of what? Of her gem? Yeah, kinda, with the bottom face of Madoka, I think, and even more writing. And finally, Madoka, probably the creepiest of them all, where everybody had the solid color corresponding to their color as a magical girl. Madoka is black. She's a shadow. She's an empty husk. Her face isn't like anime girl face. It's empty. It's hollow. And then briefly she changes into the look of a galaxy. Almost. Yeah, Madoka's henshin is the creepiest of them all, definitely. Puella Magi Holy Quintetto! Very cool fight scene. I don't think it's necessary to be like going through all those combat scenes frame by frame. We know the animation is good. We know the direction is good. We know the choreography is good. The 5 Lilians. I like how they are working together and they're using their like combo skills. This is great. This is great. This is like, what? This was my first like big what the fuck moment. Singing about a cake, who they are. I wonder, is it probably is significant somehow what they mention. She says she's a raspberry, she's an apple. Mommy is the cheese. I don't know, maybe. And then there's this mommy blob. No, not mommy. What's her face? Mommy? No, not mommy. Wait, what's her name? Sorry, I forgot. Not mommy, but rather... I don't know. I forgot her name. Sorry. But yeah, the one hopelessly in love with the fiddler, shaped like a blob, patted on the head, combed down. I really like this approach to dealing with wraiths, witches, nightmares, whatever. I really do like that. Right? We have to defeat the witch, the wraith, whatever, first, and then we alleviate the nightmare, right? You had nightmares about your boyfriend being distant, so here I'm going to calm you down and see, this is your boyfriend playing some music for you. This is a nice dream, isn't it? Turning nightmares into nice dreams. I really like that. And I hoped for a moment that in this reality, in this timeline, perhaps this is how they deal with the witches, how they deal with the nightmares. Alas, the gems, and yeah, she sleeps soundly with a smile on her face. Job well done. Chamomile team. This moment is when it started to get weird, and I thought initially that this is just a play showing that those are unimportant characters. Sometimes shows do that to like signify that they don't matter whatsoever. Usually it's just leaving their face blank, maybe with like an eye shade a little bit. I thought maybe this time around they got a little bit more creative, but this is another thing that should clue us in that this isn't a reality. There is something else involved here. The aliasing on this board, you really should have like upscaled it or something. Oh yes, we are friends, we are so much friends. Friendly Katsudon bowl. Friendly, what else was there? Like, their gems turned into pastry. Or rather, pastry shaped like their gems, yeah. And yeah, look, this is here's Kyubei, and here's Bebe, and we are all friends, and we are all living in a very nice way, you know, everybody's friendly, everything is nice. This is the shot. Those are the shots that I really wanted to pay some attention to. This one maybe even less so. Kyoko's face is obstructed. I don't think it matters particularly much. There's a division between Homura and everybody else. Kinda Madoka encroaching onto her territory. Here Madoka is crossed out and Homura and Kyoko are in like their own world, which kind of says that Kyoko was the first one that Homura talked to about this whole situation. Meanwhile, Mami and Sayaka are completely separate from that. Kyubei is separate. Bebe is even more separate, but maybe I'm just looking way too much into that, into the shot composition. Everybody's face is missing. It's not just their classmates. It's in this entire world, and those are CG cars. And here we see Witch World really strongly encroaching onto this real world. Right? Like, this is clearly a Witch World element. This is not a human being. This is a witch or a wraith or a thrall or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call them. And they're just sitting there in a park playing a music box and selling balloons. And those kids, they don't look real either. And yet nobody is making a fuss about it. Our girls are not immediately up in its face trying to defeat it, trying to kill it. Because this is a nice world. This is a nice world where you can live well with witches. If witches aren't actively malicious, why not let them be, right? Live and let live. This is the perfect, desired world. How long have you been attending Mitakihara Junior High? And yeah, there are no answers to that because the memories have been rewritten. That's a lot of bridges. That's a lot of bridges. Veni vidi Mitakihara. I came, I saw Mitakihara. I'm not sure if Mitakihara has some certain particular meaning in Japanese. Maybe it does. Again, say so in the comments if it actually means something, if it's actually significant. And yeah, they didn't make it to Kazamino. They made it back to Mitakihara. Yep. Because only Mitakihara exists. Let's try again. No, we are still back in Mitakihara. Let's go by foot. No, there are no crossroads. It's just a straight road that loops on itself, and you're back at Mitakihara. And someone is clearly trying to stop you from leaving the city. Initially, I thought that it's just Homura look-alikes, quote-unquote, but no, there's Kyoko also among them. It's the only side of you that feels right to me. Yeah, because she retained some of her memories. And Homura turning back into the Homura we all know and love. Arguably. They who spread despair and give rise to disaster are witches. Of course, it is actually a good first assumption. It has to be the work of the witches. They are doing something malicious. They are manipulating, reality. That has to be the work of the witches. But yeah, what Homura didn't take into account is that what reason would a witch have to trap you there? Right? So far, witches have been very clear into the kill magical girls camp, not seal them off or trap them or whatever. Witches were never masters of subterfuge either. They didn't really have plans, right, or schemes. A witch emerged, it fought magical girls, it either won or lost. Simple as that. There hasn't been a witch that would resort to stuff like that. Bebe was with you the very first time I met you. Yeah, apparently. Bebe was here all along, all this time. And it was so long ago that I don't even remember, of course. I love Bebe. I want Bebe. I want Bebe as a pet. But now I have friends and everything is nice. Everything is fun. Isn't it a very nice world we live in? Who would possibly want to change that, right, Homura-chan? Zawardo. I thought that Homura is going to go through different friends, through her friends, like in order. First, she told Kyoko what's the deal. And now she froze time to not say anything to Madoka, to just in case not have Bebe listen in, but she wanted to go to Mami, touch her and say, hey, yo, something's amiss. I already talked to Kyoko about it and she agrees, here's what we did. It looks like the world outside of the city doesn't exist. Something's wrong. And then she would go to Sayaka, and then lastly she would go to Madoka, and maybe then it would be revealed that, hey, it's Madoka's creation. She's a god, so she decided, why not create an illusory world for me and my friends to have a fun time in? Right? Why not do that? I can. I'm omnipotent. I can do that. But no, it seems like Homura just suspects Bebe. And I was really, really afraid that either it will be true that it's Bebe's fault, or that Homura would destroy Bebe and it isn't Bebe's fault. That would suck, because I really came to love Bebe. Thankfully, Mami Ex Machina. It's not the real Mitakihara city. Yeah. Yes, thank you for talking about it. You made progress from the main series. You actually started talking before doing. Right? Like, bravo, Homura, you're doing progress. But then that progress is forfeit. When instead of continuing to talk, and perhaps trying to convince Mami, like she did convince Kyoko, she just jumps straight into trying to kill Bebe. And when she's not allowed to kill Bebe, she jumps straight into trying to kill Mami. Girl, do you want to save your friends or do you want to kill them? This is the biggest issue I have with Homura. That she just doesn't fucking talk. She's averse to explaining. She might say, like, an offhand line somewhere, oh, the world isn't real, actually. And when you don't believe her, she just starts blasting. I really take issue with that. I really don't like it about Homura's character. I'm being fully transparent here. I really don't like it about Homura's character. But we get some amazing fight scene out of it, so I can't stay mad for too long. I love how she constantly switches her weapons. And Mami's flintlocks. I love Mami's combat style and Homura's combat style are two of my favorites. And seeing two of my favorites dish it out with no regard for anything, just full-on blasting at each other, it's a treat. It's a visual treat. It really is. So much cool shit happening. Oops, it looks like we're at a standstill. Not quite. I thought Homura is just planning a reset. Right? Oh, I fucked it up. I shouldn't have taken Bebe away, or I should have talked to Mami, or I should have done something else. Let's reset the world. Like she's done so many times. But no, it turns out it was a ruse. Maybe, or maybe she actually intended to do that. And she just made the best out of a bad situation. I really thought that she actually shot herself, despite Mami's attempts, and she will rewind and we will restart. But no, she broke the link and couldn't, in the end, she couldn't just kill Mami, she just shot her in the thigh. But it turned out Mami is Ribbons. This is a moment where I thought Mami is the witch who's doing all of it. Because who else would turn into Ribbons if not a witch, right? A ribbon witch of some sort. But no, it's actually Mami, and she just used a doppelganger or whatever. I'm glad Homura actually talks. Thank you. A little too late for that. You should have talked about it earlier, but thank you for at least trying to explain your position. She's a witch, yeah. Sure, but she's like a nice witch. But then this works, right? It actually starts making Mami think, right? What are these nightmares, right? What are they doing here? What's the deal? What's their shtick? I forgot. Shit. Maybe you're actually right, Homura. There's something wrong with this world. Right? I really thought this is the direction we're going. And then the rest of the movie is going to be the 5 of them trying to figure out how to escape this world. Who created it, how it was created, for what purpose, how is it possible that Sayaka, who died, Madoka, who sacrificed herself, are alive and well in this world, right? What's the deal with that? I really thought. But no. This is surprising, to see Bebe in a loli form. But I need you to calm down and listen to me. What did she explain, I wonder? That it's Homura who's the witch? Oh, right. She kind of made Mami their, like, temporary Madoka Apostle, right? Because then in the end it was like, oh, Cuba, you thought we have it all under control, but we were actually working undercover and we are actually Madoka's apostles and get fucked. So maybe that's what Bebe talked about? Also, again, who the fuck is Bebe? How the fuck did she become Madoka's apostle? Don't you think any of it is odd, only to keep us here without harming us? Yeah, she's perfectly right. It is very odd. The witch that created it simply wants to keep things as they are. That witch is not the enemy of magical girls, as other witches are. That witch just wants to keep the status quo. That's it. Who benefits from it? Madoka, kinda, Homura. That the person who wished for all this is one of us. Yes. The answer should be obvious. It is you, Homura-chan. And then someone in the middle, Sayaka, mentions that it is my job to remember because she's Madoka's apostle. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Is the heart that wished for this happiness actually so sinful that it needs to be destroyed? Also, this is cool. Red versus blue. Very obvious imagery, but still. But because neither she nor Mami have ever known about them, since witches no longer exist. Yep, exactly. I should be the only one who remembers her. Yeah, she is. Where does she say the line that it's her job to remember? That's a very shaft head. Another nice, albeit short, combat scene. And Sayaka is off. And now the world starts becoming more and more witchy. It starts falling apart even more. And Homura is all about witches, where magical girls are supposed to be fighting witches. This is our life, this is our deal, this is what we do. And her justification for continuing that is that Madoka gave up everything to save us, and we can't, like, be ungrateful. If we stop fighting, then what did Madoka sacrifice herself for? Right? She's not thinking rationally. Her love for Madoka is obstructing her vision, is messing with her brain. Madoka sacrificed herself so that we can keep fighting witches and not turn into witches ourselves. So we should keep fighting witches. Because if we didn't, Madoka's sacrifice was in vain, and I cannot allow that. Yeah, I won't allow that. This ridiculous farce is just wasting the sacrifice that Madoka made for us. Also, the imagery of Homura just at Madoka's feet, it's worship. It's no longer just love, it's worship. And Kyubei is observing and watching carefully. Talking about a dream. And no, I wouldn't do that. And regret, no matter what it took, I should have stopped you back then. Probably. This is also a cool image, right? Madoka was trying to bring Homura back to how she was at the beginning of this world, right? The transfer student Homura. But no, I can't be. I cannot allow myself for this happiness. I can't allow myself to not be fighting witches. Because then Madoka's sacrifice would be in vain, and I cannot allow that. And this is also the moment she realized that she's probably the one responsible. You shouldn't know her. Yep. Someone had to have knowledge about Madoka to do all of that, and the only person who could potentially have knowledge of Madoka is Homura herself. Because her memories of her weren't really erased. Sayaka is dead, Kyoko is, I think, also dead, Mami is dead. Homura is the only one. A little bit of an experiment, leave the gem and go on a journey. And she doesn't die, which means she's not a magical girl. Yep. So what am I? Why do I have the powers of a magical girl if I am not one? I thought initially that this is some... I don't know, maybe another rewriting of the rules by Madoka or something. That you don't need that gem to be a magical girl, that the power is innate, or something along those lines, that you don't have to pay the price for that power. But no. No, Homura is a witch. Ultimately, this was all your doing, indeed. Your body is out there. We shut your soul into an isolation field, whatever the fuck it is. We wanted to take a soul gem that was already pushed to its limits. That makes me wonder what happened between the ending of the show and Rebellion. Because this implies that Homura either fell in battle because her gem was on the verge of bursting, of being destroyed, or Kyubei somehow attacked Homura and brought her to this state. Placed it in an environment that was isolated from all external influence, even from God herself. Interesting. Interesting that Madoka as a deity isn't omnipotent. Right? She was able to rewrite reality itself, but her powers are stopped by an isolation field created by a race of space cats. It's, weird. It's weird. It's off. I would not have expected it. And yeah, it was mentioned at the end of the main series that it is unknown why do magical girls vanish when they die. It's an unknown phenomenon, so of course Kyubei's incubators would want to know. they would want to know why that is the case. And so they used Homura as a trap, as a honeypot, to attract all the people that she has bonds with, and maybe among those people would be the law of the cycle. And the law of the cycle would try to save her. And that indeed happened, because Madoka did appear in this world. We would be able to observe, understand, influence, and eventually control. And she was able to slip into this world without causing the least disturbance, so she probably used to be a part of this world already, because she was able to fit in like a missing piece of a puzzle. Madoka forgot she was a god, Homura forgot that she was a witch. I still am curious, how did Homura become a witch? And yeah, confirmation of the law of the cycle, that it exists, that it can be observed, it can be influenced, it can be controlled. And perhaps we would be able to stop it, and we could cause magical girls. What a concept, right? Wouldn't it be cool if magical girls turned into witches, and then we could harness that despair for power? Why didn't we think of it earlier? This is cool. I like it. I like that no matter what was done, incubators came ultimately to the same hyper-optimized conclusion in the end. Whatever changes in the world, they would still come to the same conclusion because it is the most optimal one. I really, really like that. Because it makes them... it makes their, like, efficiency fascination way more significant. It really emphasizes it. That it's not just a gimmick they had in the main series, but they also retain it here, and this is like the very core of their being, to optimize the shit out of things. And it also tells us that genuinely they didn't have any better options than what they did in the series proper, because even now with the law of the cycle, they came to the conclusion that the best idea would be to get rid of the law of the cycle. This version of you probably doesn't know, but I became a magical girl solely to save Madoka. Indeed. Indeed. And again, the downfall of incubators is underestimating human irrationality. You'll be destroyed without being found by the law of the cycle, so be it. You lose your chance to see Kaname Madoka, so be it. Yeah, so be it. Everything I do is for Madoka. Everything I do is to save her, to help her. So of course I'm going to sacrifice myself, if need be. And she gets turned into a witch in the end. Some very cool imagery. Cutting off her head, that's like the spinning table of a gramophone, and the hat holds the needle. Why is she based on a gramophone, I wonder? What significance does that have? I don't know. I never really associated Homura with music. What time is it? A different time, various time, okay. An execution procession through the city. Yep, don't listen to Kyubei. Don't listen to him. I like seeing Kyubei desperate. This is cool, this is a treat. Right? Oh, shit's fucked. Madoka, you can, like, I don't fucking know, save Homura, just, you know, find the god within you. Please, fucking do that, because else all will be in vain. Yeah, acknowledge all the true power inside of you. No, ignore him. Ignore him, absolutely do. We were once bringers of hope who despaired and spread our curses, indeed, to break free from the chains of destiny binding this world. Ha ha, surprise, motherfucker. Yep, they are Madoka's apostles. Someone had to hold all her memories and powers until it was time to give them back to her. That's a nice idea. That's a really nice idea. If things took a turn for the worse, at least one of us would survive. Yep. And be able to return her true memories to her. What's the deal with Bebe? Just randomly appeared and out of nowhere. This is our time to shine. Nice fight scene. As is usual for Madoka Magica. Nicely choreographed, nicely animated. The reason I ended up taking this assignment and coming back was because I actually have one regret. Yep. They were able to meet. Madoka and Homura were able to meet. And we're gonna save you, Homura, whether you want it or not. Also, I love this. That you actually see Cubase peeking into the soul gem. This is a great image. I love it. You actually see them sitting outside in the real world looking into it. If we can break that, you'll be free without the incubator's interference. And if I had to go so far as to betray that wish, no matter what I became, I knew I'd be fine with it. Now, Homura, together, we can save you. We can bring you back. And everybody is back into the real world. That looks like a fucking wasteland. What happened to the world to look like this? This is supposed to be the real world, right? The law of the cycle, which will one day lead us away to... I really thought we're gonna have a nice ending, right? Madoka arrives, descends from heavens, takes Homura's gem, takes her soul with her, and everything ends well. But no. No, Homura decided that she doesn't want to be with Madoka in heaven. She decided that she wants to be with Madoka on Earth, which really doesn't make any difference, so I don't know why she decided to do that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really get Homura's motivations here. What Madoka was offering was being with you, right? Let's go, we'll always be together from now on. Isn't that what you wanted, Homura? Isn't that what you wanted? Your wish is coming true right now. Why are you standing opposed to it? No one in the world could possibly understand. Yeah, sure, the feeling of love, sure. We get it. Ripping Madoka apart, her god form remains a god, and her human form remains on the earth. Now we need like the third form, and it's gonna be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Why? Yeah, you could achieve the same thing by going with Madoka. I really don't understand Homura's motivation. I wonder if we are even supposed to understand it. I wonder if it's supposed to be incoherent, incomprehensible. I think it might be the case that it's supposed to be an irrational action by Homura. Her gem breaks and she gets a new one made of pink thread, which immediately evokes Madoka. New principle has been born into this universe. Yes. What kind of a principle, though? That still hasn't been explained. That still hasn't been told. All the times I repeated history of the pain and injuries I suffered over and over, it was not even curses that soiled my soul gem. It was the... It was the obsessive love. It was the obsessive, unholy love. I pulled that sacred godlike entity down from heaven, overcoming her authority. That makes me a demon. This is a great angle of Kyubei's face. Right? Usually when the whole screen is filled with Kyubei's face, it's that like eyes and mouth and white background. This shows Kyubei at an angle like, what the fuck is going on? Right? This is the kind of emotion this conveys. It's really Kyubei just being like, what the fuck are you doing, Homura? What the shit? Right? I really like it. And yeah, trying to make use of human emotion is just too dangerous, so we're gonna fuck off now. We're gonna find, I don't know, another species that also feels emotions, but maybe is a little more mentally stable or something. No. You'll be sticking around to help. I wonder how. That wasn't really explored. And then we are back to world created in Homura's image, or to Homura's liking at least. She's present in the world, but at the same time not. Monsters, witches, trolls, nightmares, whatever you want to call them, are also present in the world. So that's interesting that the world kind of merged with the witch world. I wonder if witches are still a thing. I see the marking on the finger and I see the ring, so magical girls still exist. That much is for certain. We've broken off a part of the law of the cycle a little bit, just the records of the person that Madoka was before she ceased to exist. Yeah, I just brought down her earthly form. What right do we have to do all of this? That's a good question. But a better question is, what are the repercussions of it? If the results of what Homura did is just that the world is nice now, then it's kind of insignificant. But we don't really know what other results of Homura's actions there are. We don't see anything bad going on. We don't see anything good going on. It's very hard to judge. Sure, Homura says that she's now an existence known as evil, and that it's only natural that I should upset the laws set down by a god. But how did the world change? How did you rewrite it? After all the wraiths have been destroyed, perhaps I will. So we know that she didn't change the fact that there are only wraiths now and not witches. We know that much. That hasn't changed. So the law of the cycle still is in operation. So it's genuinely the only thing that changed. That Madoka now walks the earth. And Sayaka and Kyoko and Mami and everybody else. Is that the only thing that changed? And of course, Sayaka won't be able to stand up to her, because Homura is a god now. And here's Bebe, all happy. And yes, Sayaka, you will forget. And let's act all chummy, because else Madoka might come to dislike you. Or I might say a word or two to her so that she dislikes you. Homura fully 100% turned into a yandere right now. I didn't realize how happy it would make me to be able to say good morning to you again. See, this is like nice, right? Sayaka can be with her friends again, with her former love and whatnot. Bebe can run around having fun with her friends. So what's bad? What's that evil that Homura speaks of? Besides Homura acting a little like a bitch, I really can't see anything more. It's more like nothing has changed. I have changed. I shouldn't be here. I'm something else. No, you're not. You're Madoka. Then I suppose one day you two will become my enemy. I wonder if this is going to be the second movie. The next movie, rather. Madoka versus Homura. Do I have any space with my Madoka notes so that I can group it up? Madoka Magica, there we have it. Okay. Madoka Magica movie. Let's draw a movie clap icon so it immediately, yeah, I can immediately tell that it's not just another note on the page. Madoka Magica movie. Next movie is Madoka versus Homura. And now a certain fear has appeared in my mind. I don't think this will be the case, but there is a potential for it. There is a potential for movies to keep coming out and coming out and coming out, constantly being on a pendulum, right? Homura destroys the world, brings it to her image. Next movie, Madoka undoes it and moves the world to her liking. Then Homura, then Madoka, then Homura, then Madoka, right? If you wanted to, you could do that. You could absolutely do that. There's a potential for it. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't think it's going to happen. I will continue to wish for a world in which you will be happy. They really do look better on you after all. They do. And again, everybody is happy. Now, sure, there are some, like, even Mami meets Bebe, saves her, and they will probably become good friends and whatnot. Right? Like, this is a good world. There's that ominous rock floating in the sky. I don't know what that is. And there's Madoka frozen in carbonite. But all in all, the finale, the ending, is presented as something bad and evil and ominous. But everything that we are shown is good and nice and happy. Right? Oh, I am the evil, I guess I am the devil, aren't I? I created a world where everyone can be happy. Mwahahaha. Look how much smiles are going on. My evil plan is underway. Everybody will be cheerful and glad, and it will be a utopia. Oh, ho, 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 ho. That's not an evil plan concocted by the devil. It's really not. It's really not. And then there's the after credits scene. Homura sitting, some chunks of the world didn't generate properly, even cut the moon in half. Yeah, Homura, you're sitting by a chunk error. And then there's Kyubey in the grass. Also, I have to Google one more thing, because I think that's also merchandise. Madoka Magica, Homura earring. Of course it's a thing. Of course you can buy it. On Etsy. How much is it? Motherfucker, it's $400 on eBay. What? I guess it's official merchandise then? Okay. Okay. Sure. But I think this gem is, this earring is where other magical girls have a ring, she has an earring. And then it turns into this container. It's not a soul gem. Does it contain Madoka's power? Or at least a fraction of it? Like, Madoka's power is still within, because, you know, the pink thread that turned into it? Homura's black container is shattered. Homura's black container is shattered, which frees Madoka's godly powers. I wonder if that's the case. And then she just decides to mutilate a Kyubey randomly. Weren't Kyubeys supposed to be helping her right now? It's scared. It's scared and in despair. And I wonder... Kyubeys... There should be no apostrophe there. What am I doing? Kyubeys work with Madoka versus Homura to free themselves. Kyubey already expressed the desire to just fuck off, because human emotions are clearly too unstable, they're too dangerous, we're gonna look for other sources of energy. Thank you very much, we want nothing to do with humanity anymore. But Homura is keeping them forcefully as her minions, as her slaves, possibly even. So I wonder if it will be a case of unlikely allies. Kyubeys actually working together with Madoka, Sayaka, I don't know, Kyoko, Mami, and others to fight against Homura, so that they can be free. They can just go to fucking Alpha Centauri, see if maybe there's some other form of life that can suit their needs better. I wonder. I think it might actually be the case. The end. The end. There we go. Huh. I expected this movie to be a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more intimidating, I guess would be the best way to put it. All in all, it wasn't that heavy of a watch. It wasn't that heavy of a movie. Kinda, sorta by the end, maybe. But even then, there wasn't the like sheer amount of despair that there was in the show proper, right? Because in the main show, in the main series, we have Homura constantly repeating the cycle. We have Kyubeys actively working against them, right? We have all those things that kind of create that image of hopelessness. This movie isn't that. On the contrary, it's very hopeful despite all that happened. Because again, despite Homura saying that she wants to be the devil, she is the personification of evil and whatnot, the world she created is ultimately very nice. Right? And even if it wasn't, we maybe not know, but we can kind of expect that Madoka will fix it, or will try to fix it, at least. Right? At least that's the vibe I'm getting. That it isn't as full of despair as I thought it would be, as I expected it would be. So I'm very positively surprised in that regard. I guess it might also be because it's like not even 2 hours long, and you can certainly squeeze much more into 12 episodes than you can in a 2-hour movie. I guess that's a big factor. And because ultimately, not much all in all happened in this movie. Really, not much. A lot of it was maybe not fluff, but certain chunks of it were fairly inconsequential. A lot of it was the animators flexing on us. If you wanted to condense this movie, you absolutely could. So I guess there simply wasn't enough time to fully make you despair, to fully pull that those like baits and switches, right? The main series had plenty of baits and switches that you think, oh, it's gonna be nice, haha, you thought. It's not gonna be nice, actually. This movie didn't really have the time to do that, except by the end. And then by the end, it was a complete barrage of flip-flopping, you know? And because it happened in such a short time span, I didn't have the time to fully stick to one belief, right? In the show, in the main show, you have the line of despair, then hope, and you are left in that hope for a certain period of time. Then it goes back to despair, and you left in that despair for a certain period of time, right? And it flip-flops like that. In this show, in this movie, by the end, it felt like, oh, plus 10 hope, and then the graph goes like +3, and then you receive the command, oh no, -10 into despair, and it goes to -3, and oh no, +10 to hope, and it goes to +3. So it very like smooths out the graph between hope and despair. So it doesn't really hit all that much, only by the end. But even by the end, it's very ambiguous whether we should be hopeful or we should be despairing. Because everything wants to tell us that we should be despairing, but what we see doesn't match that. What we see shows us hope. And the fact that we ultimately don't know what changes Homura made besides bring everybody dead to be alive again, right? We can't really judge the state of the world. It almost feels like the ending of the movie. It really almost feels like a cliffhanger. The fact that I know that another movie is coming makes me okay with it. But if I didn't know that, if I had no guarantee that there's gonna be a continuation, I would be pissed. Because Madoka Magica, the series, ended in a really good, cool, fun way. Maybe not good, cool, fun, that's going a little bit too far, but it ended in a very final way. It had a proper ending. And now you're creating a movie and you offer me a much more open ending. Couldn't you have just left me with the ending of the main show? It would have been better. But because I know that another movie is coming, and perhaps even other movies in the future, who knows, I certainly don't. If you know if there's only just the next movie planned or any more than that, let me know in the comments as always. But because I know that the story will continue, I'm kind of left in that state of limbo. Right? I'm not left with despair, nor am I left with hope. I'm left with waiting for a continuation. Overall, it was a good movie. It was a good watch. I don't regret watching it. Absolutely not. I had my share of fun watching it, but there is certain criticism to be made. Maybe it's unpopular opinion, I'm not sure, but it really felt incomprehensible at times. It really could benefit from being a little bit more grounded, like the main show was, 100%. And I'm not a huge fan of it, of how completely fever dream it could get at times, because it really makes it hard to follow what the fuck is going on. I kinda pieced the story together out of the bits that I could understand. Right? There was a bit I could understand, then there was 10 minutes of incomprehensible babble, and then another moment that I could understand, and I could like interpolate what was happening between those 2 points I could comprehend. Perhaps this movie would benefit from a second or even a third watch, but I honestly don't think so. I honestly don't think that even if I were to watch it for the second time, constantly pausing and thinking and taking notes and whatnot, I don't think I would take anything more out of it. I really don't. It was just supposed to be this stylish, this incomprehensible, this outlandish, this out of their alien almost. Not even almost, fully alien to us. I guess it's nice that they were courageous enough to do that. I think I still prefer the main series though. I don't regret watching this movie. I liked it. I spent some good time with it. I had a good time. But I think I prefer the series proper still, despite all that. It simply had more time to stretch all the events through. It had many like more grounded moments in it. It's kind of a similar feeling to what I had when watching the Review Starlight recap movie. You know, that if I didn't watch the show proper, the movie would be mostly incomprehensible to me because they skipped over things that were seemingly unnecessary, but ultimately brought that additional layer to the show that helped cement certain things, that helped alleviate certain worries. Those moments weren't strictly necessary, but they helped make the story a more well-rounded experience. And I have the same feeling here, that the main show was a more well-rounded experience. Meanwhile, this movie focused mostly on those crazy, outlandish concepts of cosmic horror and talking about gods and demons and concepts and abstractions. Okay, anything else that I would need to say? On one hand, I want to stay here for a while longer and talk a little more about this show, about this movie, but I honestly don't think I have anything more to say on the topic. I think I said my piece during the discussion segment, and even then, and even now, during the closing thoughts. Hmm. I guess another good comparison I could make is that this movie was kind of like a poem compared to a book, right? The purpose of a poem is not so much to tell a story, but rather to create art, to use some imaginative rhymes, to use some imaginative metaphors, to play with words, to play with the medium, to create art. Meanwhile, the purpose of a book is, sure, also to create some art, but it's mostly focused on telling a story, telling a comprehensive story that readers can mostly understand. Where the main show of Madoka Magica was a book, this movie felt much more like a poem. Especially like the middle of it and the end. The beginning when I still thought that we are up for a mystery and trying to escape this world and trying to figure out how is Sayaka back, how is all the gang back, who caused all of it. Then it was still a little bit of a book, but then they started rhyming a little bit more. Then they started shifting the lines a little bit to create a desired image in the text. Then they started shuffling words around and omitting white space. You know what I mean? It really devolved into a fever dream. It devolved into a fever dream, but it evolved into art. I guess that would be a good way to put it. I'm going to have to spend some time thinking about it. I think I'm really gonna have to spend some time thinking about what the fuck did I just witness. Perhaps reading some, I don't know, analysis, but I don't want to do that, honestly. I don't want to be influenced by external factors in what I'm supposed to think about this movie. I don't have that problem with like regular anime. I don't have a problem reading a Reddit thread about episode 3 of Helk, of what people thought and what are people's takes on what just happened. I really don't mind that. I even like doing that. But it feels like doing that in case of this movie would lose me something. It would transplant someone else's thoughts into my head. It would swap my impression for someone else's impression. It would make this movie be overanalyzed and too well understood. I like being uncertain in this case. I like being unsure. I like not understanding this movie fully. I usually don't. I usually like knowing. I usually like understanding. But there is certain fun in how incomprehensible this movie was at times. And I think an explanation and a frame-by-frame analysis of every single scene would take something away from that. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Expect expect what? The spin-off. The spin-off, whatchamacallit, Magia Record. Expect that next week, probably, or maybe the week after. I'm gonna have to think about it a little. But right now, that was the Madoka Magica movie, Rebellion, and this is a huge weight off my chest. I no longer need to have it constantly nagging me in the back of my head that I should watch it, I should watch it, I should watch it. I have. I did my piece. I can live in peace now. May Madoka protect me. Yeah, this recording is like 3.5 hours almost, so I think it is high time we end it. And that's gonna be all I have to say on the topic, but maybe you guys have something more to add. If so, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this movie, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? Can you even spoil it to me? I don't think you can, but if you do want to talk about it on the Discord, regardless, you can do that. Link is here also in the description below. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, but please tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of Zom 100, Nanatsu no Makengashi Haisuru, Atelier, Raiza, Undead Girl, Murder Farce, and Helk, and other shows coming at you in the future. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified of when I go live. Support the channel monetarily if you want. Linked down below on Patreon, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like this movie, like other bits of Madoka Magica and other non-seasonals, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Fruit, Zay, Rainer, Aquamancer, Fussel, Dr. Watt, Marsh, UK Ally, and Hans Peter. And you can join their ranks without the need to rewrite the rules of reality.